show, baby. We're back. We're better than ever. Debut. Popping some cherries today. Happy for it.
Little trial run. Little trial run.
We're here. Can you say popping cherries on a WNBA show? Anyways,
yeah.
And with the first show, this is the last show. So I truly do apologize. Mike Powers has a vein in his head that just exploded somewhere. But welcome to the Network WNBA Show. You can catch a bunch of these different kind of variations going on throughout the next several weeks. We're doing some trial and error runs, trying to see what fits, what sticks. We know you guys love seeing Jerm's beautiful bald head, Mike's beautiful bald head, and the amazing beards of so many humans on the network. We're going to be doing more shows like this, an NBA show, an MLB show, an NHL show, a wrestling show, which I'm really excited about. Just saw Triple H announce the Netflix deal with the WWE on the Pat McAfee show, which is going to be pretty dope. Some people love it, some people hate it. But this show specifically, we're going to be talking about WNBA. Obviously, Martin, Marcus, Dwayne, everybody going to be here. We're going to be talking about it 24/7. Got my guy Jerm with me today. Jerm, real quick, can you let the people know where they can find your individual show?
Listen, you can check us out at Stuff About Sports on the Instagram and, of course, on the Give Us a Shot Network YouTube page.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am Mike Hughes, a.k.a. The Shy Kid, baby. We were doing shows last night until, for whatever reason, my laptop just wasn't rocking with it. I guess my segment wasn't good enough. My take wasn't good enough.
You're too hot, man. You're too hot. He was like,
yeah, Mike, let me save you from yourself. Get him out of here. And then I had to go on the other laptop or run upstairs in my boxers because no one can ever see what I'm wearing underneath. Today I'm wearing a tutu. But
that's ill.
We got a lot going on, man. 88-87 win in Skytown. First matchup in Chicago. Kaitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Currently, Angel is behind 1 out of the 3 games so far. Kaitlin took the first 2 in Indiana. Jerm, I want to throw it to you first and foremost. How did you feel about the game, watching it from the outside? There are so many storylines, so many things going on. What were your initial takes?
So my initial take was Indiana for about 3 and a quarter quarters had this game right where they wanted it. They were up almost double digits, right? I believe it was like 72 to like 60 something, 64 at some point. Like they had a pretty good lead going into the fourth where they should have been able to handle business. And then at some point, the momentum, and I call it hometown, that home crowd, that slightly less stadium sitting that the Indiana Fever has, even though the Sky like to talk about they sell out games, even though they only seat like half of what the Fever do.
Man.
It's all good. All 3,000 of you stood up and applauded and waited for the, as opposed to the 17,000 that the Indiana Fever like to have.
I can't even say anything about it. It's not. Again, we talked about this before the show started. He never lies. He twists facts. It's 9,000. Jerm, get it right.
9,000. My bad. Not the 16 at Indiana. Either way. About half.
Never lied. Get us to the United Center ASAP, please.
Yeah, please. Hey, listen, I don't know what's going on in Indiana. You guys, the Fever, and I'm going to go slightly off topic, but
of course,
the Sky have one of the faces of the league in terms, or definitely one of the faces of this rookie draft class. Washington is moving games for Kaitlin Clark. Like Indiana, Chicago, move the games why would you not move this game to United? Against Kaitlin Clark of all people. If you're going to move games, at least one game, find a bigger venue. Capitalize. This is the whole theme of the WNBA season is capitalism. But as far as this specific game, Angel Reese did her thing. No hate, no complaint from me. She didn't do all the fuck shit she usually does in terms of like, I'm going for the ball. No, the ball is Kaitlin Clark's head. What do you got? Antonio Brown CTE. You misplaced, she played her game, which is the one criticism I've had since the beginning of the season for her. And me and you have talked offline about it. She needs to stop letting, or at least publicly letting Kaitlin Clark run her how she operates. Go out there and play ball. You are a good player. You are a great player. Or, you have the makings of a great player. Go out there and show it. And you talked to her post game. She said a little bit of that in terms of the outside noise, a lot of which she's kind of responsible for. But she said the right things. Finally, saying the right things. And that's off the court. On the court, doing the right things. What'd she have, 25 and like 18, 16? Yeah. Nuts. Tim Duncan numbers.
real quick, which was the first time any rookie's ever done that since A'ja Wilson. So I mean, you're in great company. You know what I mean? That's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's 8 consecutive double doubles. That's crazy. Comments are crazy. Wow. What is it? 12:57 in the afternoon on a Monday. We're starting the week off strong. But no, man, I mean, it's wild to see kind of things happen for real. It's definitely damn.
Yeah.
Wow. First show is off to
Love
a
it. Love it.
strong beat. I mean, hey, Jerm, you know better than anybody, man. Jerm's been riling up some people on Give Us a Shot TikTok, on stuff about sports, on Give Us a Shot Instagram. Definitely go check out those videos if you haven't already, because people have been waiting for a live Jerm. They've been trying to catch him. They've been waiting for him outside of his house, posted up like he's Selena. I mean, people are coming for him. So, but no, man. I mean, you're in company of A'ja Wilson there, where multi-time MVP, a back-to-back champ, a defensive player of the year. So it truly is amazing to see her in that company. First WNBA rookie to have 7 consecutive double doubles. If I'm not mistaken, there wasn't a game since this Indiana game. So now it's 8. She's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep breaking records. We're just gonna keep going, see how long it lasts. But the big one here, Jerm, and I want your opinion on it, because I felt like there were a lot of storylines in Game 3. The biggest one to me, number 3 overall pick, Kamilla Cardoso, with a double double on top of Angel Reese's double double. Like, this team, and I got to talk to Kamilla about it, post game. The interview wasn't long enough to make a reel about, but it was definitely an interesting conversation when you break down what this team has the intangibles to do. When they got drafted, they told the world no one is going to out rebound us. And Kamilla, after her shoulder injury, comes back slowly trying to find herself. Had a few decent games, but nothing really 4 quarters good enough to put together. And she's finally doing that. So for you, as big as it is for Angel Reese right now, 25 and 16, having Kamilla Cardoso finally be the person we know she is, who she was at South Carolina when she just won a championship against Clark just 2 months ago. So to have that happening, how big do you think that is for the team moving forward?
So you need, and I don't want to call her a complimentary piece. I don't want to call her a complimentary piece, but this is like, I just gave Angel Reese some props. She was putting up Tim Duncan numbers. Mm-hmm. Tim Duncan had David Robinson. You need that second, not that Kamilla Cardoso's David Robinson, but we just talked about NBA duos offline. Yeah. You need that second person to kind of help out, especially as a big. A lot of trauma to that body, especially getting the points that Angel Reese is getting. These aren't Kaitlin Clark logo 3 points. She's getting old school under the rim, basically offensive rebound, a lot of second chance points off of offensive rebounds.
Of second chance points. But we'll get in. I want you to know too, I am not biased. Like, we will get into Angel Reese, especially from the field goal percentage. I mean, things got to get better.
For somebody who shoots so close to the basket, but on Cardoso being at +6, plus minus, having 16 points in that 28 minutes. But the thing that stood out, and she was one of the few in the whole game between both teams with a great field goal percentage. And that was the difference in the game. There was, on the Fever side, these people were shooting the bench players, the role players, shooting 1 for 5, 2 for 6. Like, you come in and you have a limited amount of time to make an impact. You have to make those shots, especially if you're only get 5-6 shots a game. Making one is not the way to win games.
Shooting 28%.
Yeah, shooting. Yeah. We'll get to her in a second. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to her in a little bit. But they played. It was a great game. Again, the Fever had, even with the Fever not even shooting well, they did enough to win. But I don't know if it was the hometown crowd. I don't know what it was. Basketball is a game of runs, right? Like, the Sky just went on the run that they needed to go and keep the momentum of the game and end up winning the game. So shout out to all of them.
No, yeah, it was a crazy atmosphere, bro. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the post or the therapy session we did last night talking about the game, but I had a full-blown conversation with a DJ who turned out to be Vic Meah. He had these Jerm, I promise you, these sunglasses were so big I couldn't tell it was him. Like, I knew it was Vic, but like, I didn't know, like, it didn't make sense to why he was standing behind the DJ booth, and we're just chopping it up. And then I'm like, all right, bro, well, I'll catch you. And I walk away and I look at my guy, Steven. Stephen Gardner of CHGO. He does great articles. He's one of the rare individuals I actually like on that entire network. But
Shout out to
with
him.
that, shout out to Steven, free Steven. But it's definitely one of those things for me where it's like you watch this happen, you watch these things occur, and it's like, man, that was Vic Mensa. He just performed at the beginning of the show. Oh my God, Lil Durk's performing All My Life, and he only performed one song because I'm sure he probably charges per song, but it was still like the voice is here. Like Vic, like he's here, Dirk's here. It's an incredible thing. I'm super excited to see how this continues to grow. G Herbo, Polo G, all these individuals are, I mean, Bears players, Bulls players, Caleb Williams was there. I mean, Jerm, it's been incredible. It has been incredible thus far. So like, it's really dope to see them just continuing to do what they do, bringing in more fans, bringing in bigger names. It's definitely helping them down the stretch of games because the crowd is still behind them, and I think that's the biggest thing. So, but into that, man, I mean, let's talk a little Clark for a second because this was, like I said backstage, the quietest double I've seen from her yet. 5 from 9 from 3. Didn't really feel like it. It felt like she wasn't shooting as much as we'd like her to. 17 and 13 on the day. Obviously, Kelsey Mitchell leads with 24 points, followed by Aaliyah Boston with 18 and 7, if I'm not mistaken. So Aaliyah Boston definitely had to deal with Camilla, a former teammate and a champion she won the championship with, and Angel Reese. She had her hands full all day long. Isabel Harrison was getting in the paint as well, doing the nitty gritty stuff, doing the dirty work no one wants to do. Man, but Kaitlin Clark in this game, what would you grade her from A, B, C, D, F in range of what you saw from her in the third matchup?
The same grade she's gotten all season from me, carrying that bag of trash called the Indiana Fever. A plus. Caitlin, she is the show. And let me talk about Aaliyah Boston, who I've ragged on. You were a former number 1 pick. No, get it together. Like, stop playing like some scrub. You are a former number 1 pick. Play like it. You're a star. She just now in the last couple games started having these big monster type games.
We lost Jerm. We lost Jerm on the first show. You hate to see it, but until he comes back, I will say I think he's on to something, and Jerm is back, so I don't even need to give my opinion. So happy.
I don't know what happened there. I think the Chicago Indiana Fever people put out the word. The WNBA people put out the word on me. I don't know what just happened there.
They don't want you to talk, Jerm.
I want me to talk. Aaliyah Boston 1 for 4 from the free throw line. I don't need to give you a simple math, explanation on how many points that is that she missed, 3 points, and how many points that the Fever lost by. Everybody else seemed to make all their free throws yesterday except her. But other than that, it's hard to criticize somebody who's had 18 points and 6 rebounds. So as far as Kaitlin Clark goes, she has to do a lot for that team. Like, she's the one, she's passing. She set a record for assists. No, like what is it? She had, that's an Indiana Fever record. So she has to carry a lot for that team. And Janera Johnson says, I disagree. Boston was still the reason the game was in. I don't forgive Aaliyah Boston for blowing that wide open layup that cost them. I believe it was like the second game of the season. It was like the first. I was like, no, it was like it was Kaitlin Clark's home debut.
Yeah.
You're a clown for that. Mitchell and Boston are the reasons why they won 4 straight. Hey, listen, Kaitlin Clark is the reason, because so much attention. Who was that girl that was shooting 2 free throws and forgot she had to shoot the second one because she had to rush on out there to get Kaitlin Clark? Ain't nobody doing that for Aaliyah Boston.
No, I hear you. I think you make great points though too, and I think, like, for me, the big issue when I look at the Indiana Fever was it should not have, like, what were they, Jerm? If you remember, to start the season, the first 10 games, they were like, what, 1-9, if I'm not mistaken.
1-9. Yeah.
Like, it should not have taken this long to understand. And this is not on Kaitlin Clark. This is a coaching issue. I mean, this period. And there's no other way around it. You have a number 1 overall pick in Aaliyah Boston. You have a number 1 overall pick in Kaitlin Clark. You have a Kobe Shaq type duo when it comes to women's sports. That's who they remind me completely of. For me, it should not have taken over 10 games to understand feed Aaliyah Boston. I mean, there's no other way around that. I mean, how many times do I have to scream it into the mic until this thing disconnects? Like, there is no doubt in my mind that this is a playoff contending team. if they do that from the beginning of the season. Not to say that, they're, they're a playoff team, they're going to win a playoff series. I don't think so. I think this team, to your credit and to your point, it is a bad constructed roster. I will say that, and people don't understand that when I say it. They have good players. They have good players.
Like Miss Johnson, there's 12 teams in the WNBA. Go ahead and give me the ranking for the Fever's head coach. Go ahead and tell me where you think she's
11 or 12. I mean,
okay.
You have
no, I want her to tell me. You tell me where the coach is. Tell me if she's a top half coach. If you can tell me that, if you can tell me she's a top 6 coach in the league, then I'll apologize. But go ahead and lie to me and tell me she's a top 6 coach.
And especially like when you look at this past game, towards the fourth quarter, there was a point where the Fever go up 10 to 12 points. And that's really my thing, is like, you blew that. And that's coming down to coaching, and that's coming down to executing the plays that you're putting forth. I think they didn't make adjustments from what they saw in the first 2 games. Obviously, the first game against the Chicago Sky in Indiana was Camila Cardoso's first game in her WNBA career. So for me, I think when you look at it for what it is, and understand that Camila is just continuously getting better and better. Now you have to adjust your defense. You have to start helping Aaliyah Boston. And I think the big thing is really just breaking down what this team has the intangibles to do. Like when I said this team was constructed poorly, it's not that Kelsey Mitchell is a bum or Christy Wallace is bad, even though Jerm thinks she's bad. Nalissa Smith and so many others, Erica Wheeler, they have a nice roster. Like everyone knows me, I'm a Bulls fan. DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, and Zach LaVine are good players, but they don't play well together. And that's really what it comes down to. You have good players on a team that doesn't fit them. And it took you 11 games as a head coach to realize you have to feed the beast. Feed Aaliyah Boston. She was the rookie of the fucking year. And then you went into this season acting like she was a role player for Kaitlin Clark. It's bullshit. Like, to me, like, Kaitlin Clark is who she is. She is the face of the league, not because she's the best player in the league, but because she has the most popularity. And that's completely okay. She has the intangibles, Jerm, to your point, to be the actual best player in the league at some point in her career.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, she is the rookie. Aaliyah Boston is in year 2. She should have been treated like the number 1 option from day 1. That's how they're going to continue having success. They lose this game. Why? Aaliyah Boston, 18-7. Feed the beast. That's what it comes down to.
To your credit, and there's another reason why they started off so poorly. I know you kind of talked about their poor start. Who are the best 3 teams in the league? You got the Connecticut Sun, you have the Seattle Storm, you have the New York Liberty. Guess who their first 5 games were against? Those 3 teams. So, there's a lot to it.
Right.
Do I think they're is that a reason for, they're still an average team, fringe, maybe not a playoff team this year, but
like if the W had a play in, I think they're a play in.
Right. That's a great way to put it. Play in team. But you're right. I think the Fever had a lot of pressure on them from outside sources, let's say boosters, if you will, for the WNBA. To make sure Kaitlin Clark comes off as the star as she was branded.
Right.
Just rightfully so, just based on her college marketing. Whatever reason, the great white hype machine pushing her, I don't care what it is. She's the reason we are having a WNBA show right now. Let's keep it a buck. She's the reason we are talking about this. The reason why this game, they just released a record. All the big sports networks, all their WNBA viewership records were broken by Kaitlin Clark games. This is not made up stuff. This is not dick riding. This isn't. She is a star, and there's different ways to be a star in this league. I make this analogy on stuff about sports all the time. Trent Dilfer and Aaron Rodgers both have the same amount of Super Bowls. There is more than one way to reach any goal. And Kaitlin Clark's stardom isn't really just about stats, even though she's putting up some pretty good stats. There's more to it. Angel Reese is doing it as well, even as the anti-Kaitlin Clark. Look at what she did yesterday in this game. More of that, please. Yeah. Not more of, people are watching the WNBA because of me too. No, they're not. Sorry. By no metric are they tuning in for Angel Reese. They're tuning in to see Angel Reese and Kaitlin Clark. I'm sure they broke another record yesterday. I can't wait for those numbers to come in. But what you can do is people are paying attention to you because you started off running your mouth about Kaitlin Clark, trying to compare yourself to her.
Mm.
A lot of that to me is jealousy because she does have that title in college over her. I think she feels like she should be more popular than her, and she's not for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But what she is right now, you can say maybe a better player. And when so many eyes are on the league because of what Kaitlin Clark is doing for them, that's how you get people to kind of turn to your side. But when you start barking and talking shit and saying passive aggressive things and taking swipes at her head and then telling everybody you were going for the ball when you clearly weren't going for the ball, instead of dropping 25 and 18, that's how you get people to come to your side.
Right.
That's what I want to see. That's the Angel Reese I like. I like the shit talking and the waving. Who's the girl she was waving at the
Melissa Smith.
Yeah, I love that. That's the type of stuff I like to see. But
Right.
like when you act like a brat in front of the camera and you, like, even yesterday during the post game, it's just me being me, and I love my team and I love my teammates. But a couple weeks ago, you were doing all this crying and acting crazy and playing a victim when you're losing games. But when you're winning, it's all high and mighty. Don't switch up. Don't do that.
And that's where I would agree with you on that standpoint, to where it's like, you gotta remain a constant.
Miss
You know
Johnson,
what I mean?
I averaged 6 points on my 8th grade basketball team. I know a little bit about the game.
Oh man, but no, like I think for me, man, like I think Angel has points, and I think that's where I'd push back with you. I don't see it as jealousy. I just think it's one of those things where it's like, nah, like I am here too. Like Jerm, would you agree? Now, Kaitlin Clark was going to have the magnitude that she had no matter what. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like she was going to get love from the league. People were going to love her for who she was and carrying to Iowa to 2 national championships where she lost both of them. But it's to the dogs in Chicago. But I think, man, in all seriousness, if we can have like a real moment right now, just me and you,
Okay.
no memes, no reels. If this didn't happen on both sides, because Kaitlin Clark did it first, Angel retaliated with it. If this doesn't happen, I don't think there's the same conversations we're having today, because that sparked everything. That national championship game, what was it, 2022, 2023, between LSU and Iowa, really just changed the entire game. And Jerm, to your point, that's where I think Angel gets frustrated, was because not only was she such a huge piece to that, the contributing factor, she was the one who came out on top. So I hear you. I definitely hear you, to where it's like, when the media comes at you a certain way, sometimes you have different responses depending on the situationals of, did you win the game? Did you not win the game? Who's getting more love? Who's not? But my big thing for me is, at the end of the day, just like we're going to talk about in a little bit, Magic played just as much of a role as Bird did in creating the NBA and getting them out of bankruptcy. And we'll talk about that's a whole segment for later. But like, I think one might feel slighted over the other for getting more viewership. And I think that's human nature. I think that's an understandable thing. Especially when fucking weirdos are waiting outside of your hotel with cameras in your face trying to talk
Crazy.
shit to you.
Crazy.
Like, that's why that whole thing happened. She was defending
Yeah.
Kennedy. It was a whole, I don't want it like to misconstrue it in any way. Your points have validity to them. Those opinions have validity to them, because that's how it can be that's how it can be construed, is, man, you look jealous. But for me, it's like, I put in all this work. I have grown the game. And at the end of the day, all they keep talking about is the woman who is viewed as the great white hope, not in the eyes of the media, but to all of these fans. I mean, me and you talked about it backstage. You go to the Shy Kid podcast on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, or on Give Us a Shot on any platform, and you go watch my shit with Angel Reese. There's people who, I promise you, don't listen to what I'm saying, don't listen to what she's saying in the post-game interview or even in the clip. People see her face and automatically comment ghetto, automatically comment bully, automatically comment trash, just because they have already mentally checked out on her as she's 21 years old, and they're on Clark's side. And whether that's Clark's side or a whole racial issue that we can get into later about why these things are happening, I have no idea. But people are fucking weird. And I think where, we always think, me and you as fans think, oh man, she hates Kaitlin Clark. I don't think she hates Kaitlin Clark. I think she hates the comments and all of the people who are just on her 24 fucking 7. Like that's really what it comes down to. Like people are in her DMs saying outlandish things. People are in her comment sections saying horrendous things. Honestly, bro, y'all fucking weirdos. Like y'all should go to jail for half of the shit y'all say about this
Man,
woman.
listen, man, she's fucking G Herbo, man. What does she care? Who cares?
But you know what I mean, though?
You're about to make $1 million. You're about to be a millionaire. You're about to cash in. Like these people, and I just posted them here. You think you can't be that sensitive. Lonnie Young, I'm buck dancing like hell, whatever that means. Hey, where's the other idiot that was on here? No. I'm unsubscribing. Fuck out of here with this BS. Angel did not hit her on the head on purpose. I don't know what play you were watching. She hit her on the head on purpose.
I don't think so. I disagree.
Where's the other Jack? I think she was.
I think she was going for the ball.
She was not going. She was going to swing, and if she hit the ball, cool. I think she was trying to foul her hard. I'm not saying she was trying to hurt her. I don't think she was trying to hit her in the head. No. I don't know what. I don't know what. All right, I'll go find the video while you're talking.
I don't know how y'all get down in Philly. I know Chaz has told me a few stories, but in Chicago, that happens twice on Sundays and 3 times on a Saturday.
You don't swing at the head or near the head. You body check. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Man,
Jay Ness, that's Tony Ayo, brother. That's Tony Ayo did that. But I feel you. Shout out to John Cena too. Shout out to Jay.
Hey, listen, man, if your head got in the way of my arm, that's on you, brother. You know what I mean?
She thought she was the Dream. So that's all that happened. She thought she was Hakeem the Dream and had them long arms to swat that.
It happens. But you know,
Angel Reese. But in terms of the matchup, though, this is what we want. Like this is the rivalry that we want. We're about. But
would you really quick? Would you agree though? Like from the outside looking in, right? Because I'm in the room and I can kind of get the vibe. Like Angel's been. I always reiterate it. She has been nothing short of amazing to the media, to her teammates, to everybody. But you could see she does feel some type of way when she does get asked those specific questions. And I think for me, would you agree that I don't think it has anything to do with Clark individually? It's the whole mainstream media of everybody kind of just collectively probably pissing her off over time in the comment sections, on social media, on the Pat McAfee show, on all these other places, to where they're coming out and they're saying, yeah, it's all about Clark. It's all about Clark. It's all about Clark. I don't think it individually, like we always talk about it. Is she jealous? Does she hate her? I don't think it has anything to do with her. I think she's tired of the media's narratives. I think she's tired of people's narratives who don't even know her. Like, I think people, and I want to say this for the 20 people in here, because I have seen some crazy outlandish comments so far. I just want to kind of like bring that up. You are a grown ass, not you, Jerm, but you are a grown ass man or a grown ass woman.
Yeah.
Shitting on a 21-year-old woman who is, first of all, a minority in this world. Just trying to battle against the Bryce Harpers of the world, battle against the Luka Doncic of the world. And she's a woman at that. So it's hard enough for her to try to be taken in a certain light when it comes to the sports world. The WNBA has been fighting for their spot to just be relevant for years. And she's doing that. And I'll say this, whether it's Kaitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, Asia Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, whoever. Hold on. Give me two. Grace Berger, who was a DMP. I don't give a fuck who it is. Like, if you got it, you got it. And I think some people, man, we start to get to this point to where you're hating. I'm 24, brother. I will not hate on someone younger than me because, like, what? That's kind of like, that's weirdo shit. I did say Paige.
He did say Paige. And shout out to Paige, tore that ACL.
Maybe I didn't. Man, what? Oh, Jerm. Jerm. Why?
What?
You could have said, shout out to Paige for coming back from that torn ACL. Bro said, shout out to Paige for the torn ACL. That's what I meant. My bad. You know who else? And only because we didn't get to it, but we were talking about them two. And I didn't want to cut you off, but also Cameron Brink was on my mind, and she tore her ACL. Of course.
Paige, and when you brought up Paige earlier, it made me think of that. So I was like trying to formulate how to sneak it in there, but it didn't fit.
Shout out to Paige for her ACL.
For her ACL, it came out wrong. My bad. I'm not very popular with your contingents already. It doesn't really matter. But
this will be on Protect Our Queens. That clip will be on Protect Our Queens.
For your ACL, my bad. Shout out to Martin Sories. Speaking of Protect Our Queens, got your back. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, but it's the hardcore WNBA fans are refusing to see that casual bandwagon fans who didn't like the hard foul on Caitlin Clark, or only here because of Caitlin Clark, or whatever the reason is, are exactly what the sport needs to thrive and survive, right? We just saw the report of the WNBA not being profitable, even with all of the hype. I don't like that argument because it's not these ladies' fault. The game has never been more popular. Profitable is a different conversation.
Right.
The WNBA was never going to be profitable with the existing fans. It's already hit a limit. I said this on Stuff About Sports, and it did not go well. I said, hey, man, there's only so much you can cater to the Black lesbian crowd. There's just not enough of them to grow the game, period. That's not me just being some opinion. That's a fact, right? You have to get a different crowd in there to grow. Now, if you want to have a morality argument on which a lot of your fans here, like Adrian HB, I'm going to take a wild guess. I'm not going to say what I think the HB stands for, but I think that we all know what it stands for. If you're as, I mean, it's a compliment.
I fuck with you too.
Hey, but I got to pick a better guest. Hey, I'm not a guest. I'm a co-host. Get it right. I don't know basketball and you don't know podcasting. Stay in your lane, Adrian. What does Angel Reese smell like? Can't stop it. All right. So Angel Reese looks like she smells great, but
smells like a winner.
Yeah. I mean, 25 and 16 is dope. Hard plays are great for the game, but not cheap plays. And to me, it looked a little cheap. But what I'm saying is, regardless of what Kaitlin Clark is bringing, what you're saying is if you got it, you got it. But when the eyes are on you, you can't make it about another person.
Right.
Right. Like Angel started the season to do. I think she's turned that around a bit. I was critical. Last night was a great showcase. Give me more of that. And nobody's going to say anything. I'm not going to come up on this podcast and say anything bad about you because I've never once said that I thought Angel Reese was trash. Have you ever heard me say that?
No.
Have you ever heard me say that she wasn't one of the faces of the league or one of the people who was going to help grow the game? I never said that. But what I said was how she is presenting herself is coming across like she's more worried about being on a level of perception with Kaitlin Clark rather than not worrying about Kaitlin Clark, because Kaitlin Clark isn't really, whether she is worried about her or not showing it and just playing her game, which is ironically elevating her status. If Angel Reese keeps coming out and kicking Kaitlin Clark's ass on the court, putting up monster numbers, right? And it's not just because she's black, because who's the best player in the league? Mike Hughes, Martin Sories, you're in the comment section. Who is universally regarded as the best player in the league? Who have I said, a person who does not watch WNBA basketball that often, know who the best player in the league is?
I'll tell you right now, it also so happens to be the person with the worst logo in the league. That shit is ugly and that shit is awful. It looks like a grill that got knocked over because the wind was too loud the night before. I mean, Asia, I love you, but you got to be better. That is insane. But I'm with you, bro, and I completely agree. And, it leads us to our next conversation that kind of is happening a little earlier than I wanted it to, but I mean, it's still here. Really quick, shout out Kennedy Carter, who is amazing in this game. Told everybody that she wasn't just going to be, the Caitlin Clark's highlight reel. She is one of the best guards in the league, period. And Kennedy Carter is doing her thing. She has been a spark. She is now a part of the starting offense. But the next conversation I wanted to get into, Martin, you better not go anywhere because I was excited for you to see this. Getting into that, really breaking down what the WNBA was before and what it is currently, and how we saw something very similar to this in the early 1980s after we already saw Larry Bird and Magic Johnson in 1978 join the league, their rivalry in college, their rivalry in coming into the league, obviously Boston versus LA. Now you have Chicago versus Indiana. Jerm, I watched these two go back and forth all the time. And I believe it was Howard Bryant. I want to make sure forgive me if I mispronounce your name, of ESPN in 2010 had a great article about the racism outside of basketball that occurred during the Bird and Magic era. And I think that's one of the crazier things for me is we're kind of seeing history repeat itself in terms of that with Angel and Caitlin. The WNBA, not to say they were going bankrupt, but they were definitely not making a profit annually off of the WNBA throughout their 20 plus year history. Now you're seeing a profit. Now you're seeing all of these superstars, all of these players. I mean, yesterday we saw Jalen Brunson. We saw Polo G. We saw Lil Durk and all these different people at the game. Caleb Williams. People are showing up and showing out for them, just like in the 1980s with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, where the NBA was on the way of going bankrupt. They saved the game. And then obviously Michael Jordan comes in afterwards, and the rest is history. But do you see history repeating itself in terms of that between Angel and Caitlyn? Maybe they don't like each other, just like Magic and Bird, but they are going hand in hand in saving this league right now. Are you on the same boat as that?
Yeah, I was really upset when the report came out that the WNBA isn't profitable again, whatever the debt whatever it was. That's not fair, because again,
it's years of debt.
It's years of debt, right? The NBA became profitable in the 90s, right after the Bird and Magic that kind of kickstarted it, but then obviously Jordan and the Bulls, that dynasty game. So there's a bunch of moving parts you need to happen, but
sure,
the formula is the same, and it's starting to happen with the WNBA, right?
Really quick, to your point, you said it, right? It took until the 90s with Jordan. I want to give you your flowers because everyone's on Jerm today.
I love it.
The next Jordan's coming, and her name is Juju Watkins.
Hell yeah.
And it might not be Angel and Caitlyn 10 years from now that we talk. It could be, really quick, to your point, it could be Juju. So I just wanted to give that, because Jerm does know hoops. I want to address comments.
I know it doesn't seem like it sometimes because I like trolling all of you. You did say people are only watching for Kaitlin Clark, and that's just asinine. I didn't say that. The stats say that. Her viewership numbers, her ratings, the fact that she has broken every big network television, all her games, literally 4 of the top 5 highest rated games this season are all Kaitlin Clark games. I'm not arguing with y'all. This is okay, fine. If you guys want to be technical in general, I'm sure not 100% of the people watching you know what I mean? Fine. I'm generally speaking. The numbers, the metrics, whatever metric you want to use, it's Kaitlin Clark. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. That's not saying that nobody else is watching any other game, whatever. But if you don't think that Kaitlin Clark isn't responsible for a large majority piece of this growth, then you're lying to yourself, and you just don't want it to be true. Now, back to the topic at hand. The NBA didn't become profitable until the 90s after Jordan. That was still 20 or 30 years after the fact. WNBA just started in what, 96, 97?
I believe 97.
Not even 30 years yet. So how about this? Give it some fucking time, right? We have not had this influx of, maybe the WNBA has had stars with like Cynthia Cooper and Rebecca Lobo and them back in the day.
Maya Moore,
there have been stars in the WNBA. The problem was the marketing wasn't there. Sorry for them. Thank you for being pioneers of the game. Thank you for being legends of the game. It takes a little bit more than that. Now we're entering a different era in not just sports history, but social culture, social economics. We are entering the social media era. There's more eyes on the game. The game is more accessible to people. More women are just simply playing basketball. Let's be real. So if it takes a bunch of MAGA Trumper red hat people who love Kaitlin Clark to come and help raise the tide for all the ships, then so be it.
Yeah.
But that's bringing in money. That's bringing in putting these games on prime time slots.
Right.
The WNBA's biggest advantage is that they operate right before the NFL season, right when the NBA season is tailing off. This should be their time. The dog days of summer sports are a real thing because people say there's nothing to talk about, while backhand slapping the WNBA because it's been in operation since the 90s.
And Major League Baseball.
And Major League Baseball, who has 130,000 season schedule for some reason.
Who get 40,000 fans at Wrigley Field on a 1:20 start on a Wednesday afternoon. But I digress. But it's crazy.
So this is excellent because there's another thing that happens with Bird and Magic that's happening with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and that's storytelling. That's another thing you need. So there's like 3 major parts you need. The WNBA is just now getting that. They're all maybe all in their infant stages of that, but they're all getting that. They have the history now, right? They've been in operation almost 30 years. Now they're having the eyes. Now they're having, me and Marcus just talked about this. Yeah, the WNBA fans were already watching, but unfortunately, you've hit your ceiling.
The world is watching now.
The world is watching now. It's different now. Now you're in a different stratosphere. The criticisms to Angel, you can't have it all. You can't say, be nice to me all the time because I'm Angel Reese or I'm a female basketball player and let's get off Angel Reese. Jane Smith. Let's just whoever Jane Smith is, WNBA player Jane Smith. You can only say nice things about me because now you're finally seeing me on TV and I have bad games. This is what sports is. We've been shitting on LeBron James for 20 years.
Right.
When you get to a certain level, when you level up like the WNBA has, you can't just get praise now. Like there are criticisms that come with it. That's part of sports.
And I think they understand that. You know what I mean? I think sometimes it just kind of,
but it's not race baiting. It's not, but it's not race. It's not a race thing because we don't do that to other great black athletes in the WNBA, just like we don't do it to every black basketball player. Right. We do it to specific players to have a specific story.
See, but you know what's different, and the key word in which you said there was the story. You don't do that to other players because other players don't historically have that beef with what is a lot of people view, and this is no hate to Kaitlin Clark, but this is where a lot of people just call her the Great White Hope. Marcus and Martin have called her that several times, you know, and that's where the issue is, Jerm. If you you stay in your role and you stay in your place, then no one has a problem. Angel Reese said, fuck that. Boom, boom. National championship on your fucking head. Now she's, they still have these issues going on. They're still going back and forth. And now people are frustrated over it because in the nicest way possible, she's not kneeling to the Kaitlin Clark, I am the savior. And I love that. That is the dopest shit to me, is that Angel Reese stands 10 toes every single day and she's ready to go to war. Camila Cardoso, same thing. All these individuals. I mean, Camila's hilarious yesterday when they asked her about it, and she's talking about, I'm just here to fucking hoop. Like that's what it should be at the end of the day. So I'm with you and I agree with you. And not everybody is in there, but from someone who's been in the rooms, from someone who has listened to the storylines, and I have sat there. And this isn't to throw anybody on blast, but I've heard someone interview Angel Reese, get the quote they needed to, in a whole paragraph of a response. They take one sentence and then they write some bullshit article. She sees that. I remember last year when Courtney Williams walked into the post-game presser against Seattle and cussed out a reporter because, she didn't like the articles that people are writing. These players are reading articles that these people are writing. They are reading the comment sections of, like you said, these MAGA, whatever you want to call some of these fans. Wherever they're coming from, it's racist, it's fucked up, and it's ignorant comments. And you're human at the end of the day. Shout out the Shy Kid TikTok, 25,000 followers today. That was dope. But I'll tell you what, how many of them daily just come in there to tell me to go fuck myself? Sometimes you just have a bad day, man, and you're like, man, bro, like if TikTok didn't have this sensory shit, I would go in there and I'd lay one down. But you don't want to get banned, Jerm. Jerm's not TikTok savvy. He'd go crazy. He'd be shadow banned in a span of 2.5 seconds.
Yeah. I believe I've been shadow banned before, so it's all good.
Dude, it's so easy. It's insanely easy to be shadow banned on TikTok, bro. Like one time I wrote your mother. Like he was like, bro, who cares about you? I said, your mama. And then I got banned for like a day. And I was like, that's crazy.
Oh, he reported you, bro. That's all that is.
I'm like, for what though, bro? But to last point I wanted to make, I think it's an amazing point, because here's the problem in which what you said. Kennedy Carter, for a week, felt what Angel Reese has felt over the last 2 years.
Right.
And it went away immediately because there's really no beef there. There's really no rivalry. You know what I mean? It was just one instance. It was just a thing that happened. Kennedy's a dog and she don't stand for bullshit. She stands on business. So she just, it happens. Like I said, Jerm, a Chicago play happens 3 times on Sundays, twice on Saturdays. But
the other reason is nobody knows her. Like, so it's different.
Right.
Like, again, Chicago Sky fans know her.
Right.
The hardcore, and I don't like to say real or fake fans.
But it's a real conversation, though.
You're an old school WNBA fan. Exactly. You know who Kennedy Carter is. The fact of the matter is, and the people who knew her before are still rocking with her, knew what the story was and knew what she was about beforehand.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking about this is a different bag, right?
Right. These are people who...
It went away because she's not Angel Reese. She's not Sabrina Ionescu. She's not Brianna. It's like, and they kind of... She did, but again, she's not big enough. She's not, and that's just the fact of reality, right?
It's not a storyline. You know what I mean? It's never going to be Kaitlin versus Carter.
Right. She's not big enough to do that. Now, Breonna Stewart did that, or Skylar, my favorite WNBA player of all time, Skylar Diggins. And I won't call her Smith because I hate the dude that put that Smith on there. Hey, you know what I mean?
Horrible.
Terrible. Did America wrong there? Did the entire human race terrible?
You're horrible. No,
oh, me? My bad. Yo, shout out to
you're
him.
Hilarious, brother.
Shout out to Mr. Smith. So,
Mr. Smith, what do you think his day job is?
I mean, probably just
is he a WNBA baddie? Just getting the
but yeah, getting flown out. I mean, just making sure the kids are straight. You know what I'm saying? I'd be out here. I'd be out here, Mr. Clean. I'd be out here wiping counters, doing.
I could be a house husband, bro. I think I told you.
I'd be a house husband. Let Skylar Diggins wife me up. Listen, I talked all this shit about Angel Reese, but if she wants to fly me out to Chicago,
you're not invited. You're not.
I'm not invited.
Caitlin Clark's in your mouth too much. You're not invited.
Man, I'll fly out to Iowa. I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't care. I'll go hustle some corn.
No, you won't.
Some corn.
You'll ride there on a horse, maybe. I fucking hate Iowa. To this day, you know I hate Iowa, brother.
Yeah. I live in North Carolina. I'm used to it. I'm good.
Fucking hate Iowa, bro.
But in terms of the Bird and Magic, I'm with you. And I do think the rivalry is good. My criticism from Angel, which is what I've stated many times before, isn't her play. It isn't her game. It's how she
conducts herself.
Like Caitlin, you can tell that Kaitlin Clark had a heavy dose of media training, whether that's carried over from her large profile in college, but she always seems to say the right thing. Whether you can sense that it's bullshit or not,
right,
is one thing.
I feel like, a lot of the time, I feel like it is bullshit,
and I'm sure it is. 100%. I'm sure it is. It doesn't matter though.
What she wants to say,
right? Angel it's too loose for somebody who is groomed to be a star.
Do you know why it is though? Like, do you? Like, for me, it comes down to where you come from, the humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Like, me personally, bro, I say this all the time. And I said this yesterday, actually. I'm not going to drop the person I said it to. And this might make me look like a negative person or a negative light, but this is just my reality of what my life is like and what it was growing up in Chicago. Like, listen, bro, I'm from here. Like, everyone yesterday, on a normal game, mid-season, not even at the halfway point, not even at All-Star break, ESPN's there, Holly's there, all these people from TNT, everybody around the sun is there at this regular season WNBA game, which we have never seen. And I see people who have been there for years tripping, nervous, shaking in their boots because they don't know if they're going to be able to get interviews today. They don't know. Man, I'm looking at him like, Mike, what are you going to do? I just turned over. I'm about real world problems. Like, we grew up and people got shot on our corner. We grew up, people shot at us. Like, we grew up and people jumped us. Horrible shit happens in the city I'm from every single day. If you think I'm going to get hoed by some white boy from Addison, Illinois, from Naperville, from Iowa, from Stanford or Harvard, I don't give a fuck, brother. And I'm going to conduct myself the way I conduct myself because I am the shy kid. I am Mike Hughes. I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for the people who come from where I come from. And Angel, coming from Baltimore, is in that same breath, in that same light. And that's for me where I'm like, coming from a small town in Iowa, you really don't have to persevere and battle through anything. I'm a white male in America. At the end of the day, I still don't know the trials and tribulations that a black man would go through in Chicago. That's what it comes down to. But being in Chicago, getting that perspective, seeing what I've seen, going through the things we've gone through, yeah, bro. Yeah, we're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to be us. I'm not trying to make this a TED talk or like a motivational speech.
Jerm. I feel you.
But that's where I'm at with Angel is like, you're not going to make me kneel. You're not going to make me man, what was it a few years ago, 10 years ago? Shut up and dribble. Fuck that. Like, I am me. And I have gotten to this point because I am me. And that's what I love so much about her is like, yeah, bro, like, she to this comment right here, King Steppa, which is an amazing name.
Hilarious. Shout out to him.
She's just telling the truth. And whether you believe that's the truth or not, that's her truth. And the fact that she stands on it is what I respect the most about her. So that's really where I'm at with it. I think a lot of
these people I swear they're fucking idiots out there. You're not understanding what's being said. Did I say she can't say whatever she wants? What did I say?
I didn't. That wasn't the argument, but it was just
that wasn't the argument. I didn't say she couldn't say or be herself. What I'm saying is that comes with consequences. Don't be scared of how people react to that. You guys do not listen, and that's the main problem here. You think I'm saying one thing, and you are putting your moralities and sensibilities on it. Listen, shut the fuck up and listen to somebody once in a while. I never said Angel Reese is a bad person for even saying that stuff. I get how she is. It's black sports media are afraid to look biased towards court. Oh my God. as a black person, it's even more important that Angel Reese conducts herself. And y'all know why. Black people can't just go out there and act any old certain way, because the people who make the things generate at the top of the mountain, guess what? They ain't black. So yes, there is a level, and that's another just plight of black people that have to do it. You have to at least I'd rather her go up there and not say anything. Do what all the other players did. Be short. Say what you got to say. Build your star. When you become like one of them, then you can maybe start loosening up a little bit. But they said that they couldn't move the game. I'm not talking about this specific game, but they have had 3 games to do Kaitlin Clark and Angel Reese. But y'all hung up on one game. I don't care about DUI, Justin Timberlake having a concert. Move it somewhere else. I don't care. But also, what do you mean take the ball out of Clark's hand? She's probably made ball and didn't do shit. She didn't. That was another. That's another thing. But she did shit all game. She had 13 assists. Her teammates didn't do anything.
Is Justin Timberlake in Chicago, Jerm?
They're saying that they couldn't move the concert because Justin Timberlake had a concert.
Oh no, you know what it was? It was Russ. Because Russ was at the game, but he was performing at
who doesn't know who doesn't know who's talking about what now? Y'all don't know what you're talking about.
It was Russ. No, I swear to God, it was Russ. Russ was here last night. He was also at the Sky game. Like 8 p.m. was his concert, which was honestly, it was kind of like I was impressed that he showed and he stayed the whole game, because I was like, man, that's kind of cutting it. I don't know how like performer shit goes, but like I would imagine
from Jersey too.
Italian, you doing the thing. But
the comment section's right. And we alluded to it earlier. The mistake that Indiana made was they were trying to make Kaitlin Clark that person when they should have let Aaliyah Boston lead until it was time.
And like keyword right there, because that's exactly where I was going. Like when Kobe first came into the league, everybody who has any type of intellect could tell you, whether you're the biggest Kobe fan or not, dude was dog shit. Like dude was horrible. I mean, this man was awful.
I wouldn't say dog shit. He was a rookie though.
But that's compared to the peak of Kobe Bryant versus the rookie of Kobe Bryant.
Right, got you.
Dude is fucking horrendous, and he's airballing, and he looks awful. Not saying Kaitlin Clark is doing those things, but it's like give her a moment to come into herself, and the best way to do that is by standing next to your vet, who whether she's in year 2 or year 15, she has a year on you. She is one of the biggest names, a former number 1 overall pick, the same way Shaq helped Kobe. Let her be that number 1. Let her be the person that throughout the first 3 quarters everybody focuses on. Then boom, 4th quarter, here comes Kaitlin Clark from the fucking logo, and she's banging 5 for 9 from 3. 5 from 9 from 3 is great. But when the entire game, the entire offense is focused through them, it's tough. Now I understand against the Sky, it's not saying we're better. I'm just saying from a paint perspective, it's a lot tougher. The other night, the Sky had 48 points in the paint, and I forgot who we played the other night. The other team only had 22. That's fucking insane. Like 22 points in the paint in the WNBA is crazy, because we have games where 80% of the points come from the paint in the WNBA, because obviously the 3 ball isn't translated the way we'd like it to. But my point of all of that is, outside of playing against Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, this fucking team has done a disservice to Aaliyah Boston in her development. People were saying she's regressed. It's year fucking 2. How are you regressing? You're not regressing. You're just not getting those opportunities you were on the team that you were the only player on that team last year. And that is no disrespect to any of the players that were on the Indiana Fever of 2023. All I'm saying is no one will ever remember that team specifically. This is
that's why they had 2 back-to-back first number 1 overall
100%.
Picks. They were top 3.
100%. But you can't forget about your first number 1 overall pick. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I said earlier, this loss is on coach sides. How do you have Kaitlin Clark inbounding the ball and not draw something up for her to either use as the shooter
or a decoy?
And the same can be said with Aaliyah Boston. This team, and as much as I shitted on James Harden being a Sixer, you remember I did not want him on the Sixers, and they ended up with him on the Sixers. And then when he got here, what did I say? Fine, fuck it. He's here. This is how the Sixers win.
Exactly.
Pick and roll. Why are not the Fever dominating with the pick and roll offense just with them 2? And then you get the other players to just hit wide open threes. They will get open. The Mavericks use this formula basically the entire playoffs until the finals when Kyrie Irving shit the bed on them. He was used with Luka in pick and roll situations and got guys open shots, alley-oops, things like that. Obviously, the alley-oops thing's not going to happen. But the point remains the same.
Hey, real talk though,
Mhm.
we're gonna pull the clip up. I'm gonna put it on Give Us a Shot Instagram later.
Mhm.
Kennedy Carter almost dunked the other night, which was pretty fucking dope. I can't lie
Yeah.
to you.
Shout
And
out to
she
her.
said she
Hey.
can. She said
Oh,
so I'm
do it.
hoping
Do it. That's it.
we fucking see it, dude. It was she literally Jerm. It was just did she want to type shit. Like she could have did it. And I was like,
Mm.
I'm like, ain't no fucking way.
You know
Like
when
that.
when you get like right there and you're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to dunk it, and then you get a close enough, you're like, oh, I can dunk this, and then
Yeah,
that hesitation sets in, and you're like,
yeah.
let me make sure, because now it's like, if I try to dunk it, I may not make it.
Yeah, she's
I
also
got to
like
commit.
5'11" too, to her credit. So like,
That'd be awesome.
me myself, I remember, and people might not believe me, I could grab rim in high school. I'm 5'8", and but I couldn't dunk. Like fundamentally, it just didn't mechanically, it just didn't make sense to me. My brain, I got the white man brain, so dunking isn't a thing. But it's one of those things. Like every time I got up there though, I was fucking terrified on the way down. And maybe that's the D Rose PTSD, but like you don't want to get injured dunking on a play where you don't even need to. You know what I mean? So like I think that's what goes through a lot of their minds. Like you can't tell me right now Camila Cardoso couldn't dunk if she couldn't want. She's 6'7". You couldn't tell
But
me
she's
she
also
can't.
coming off an injury. I'm sure confidence is
No, but I mean like
yeah.
in life,
I got you.
like,
I got you. Yeah.
Are you gonna sell me that BG can't dunk? Like we've seen BG dunk. You know what I mean? And
No.
she just doesn't because
Yeah.
I mean it's just not the game. But
Well, them knees got miles on there. But
hey,
Janera Johnson said those plays were broke as plays when she was talking about when I said the inbounds play, the pick and roll stuff.
sure.
Hey, great.
An inbound play really quick though is not a broken play. Like that is a play where you go on the side before and design a play. Like that's the issue. Like that's you literally have a whole
I don't
minute
know.
to do that.
Right. And I don't know if she's talking about one specific play because I said at the end of the
Maybe.
game, but they did it all throughout the game. They were knocking down threes because of it, and that's how they got the big lead. They went away from it in the fourth, and surprise, surprise, they lost the game. I don't know why they went away from it. Again, coaching has to get better. I get Coach Sides hasn't been there. What is this, her second year, first year, whatever year she's in?
2 or 3. I don't know.
It's got to get
she's been in Indiana for not
either way. The game was fire. This rivalry is fire. Shout out to both of them. I don't hate Angel Reese. I like Kaitlin Clark. I like Angel Reese. I like everybody. But facts are facts. And all I do on stuff about sports is tell the truth because we have a monopoly on the truth, whether you like it or not.
So I want your truth though, Jerm. I want your truth on our next topic. We're gonna leave the Magic and Bird debate. Okay. Kaitlin Clark. A lot of people view me as a Kaitlin Clark hater. I just Angel. I mean, Angel is my dog. You know what I mean? Like that's my person. So I'm standing with her. But we look at this play right here, and it's what is it, second, third quarter, whenever this was. Kaitlin Clark obviously doesn't have the ball in her hand. We see Christy Wallace come up with it. She has a defender that's at least 10 feet away from her. And you see Kaitlin Clark's frustration on her face for her taking this shot. Now, Christy Wallace makes this shot. Now, to Jerm's credit, she does shoot less than 30% from three. So I'm sure Kaitlin was feeling some type of way about it. But she was 1 for 2 from three in this game, shooting 50%. So for me, Jerm, I looked at this and I said, you might think Christy Wallace is ass if you're Kaitlin Clark. You might think she's a horrible fucking three-point shooter, and she might damn well be. But you can't make that expression as she's hitting that shot. It just looks bad as a teammate. What were your initial thoughts when you saw that? And did you think you need to see a little bit less of Kaitlin? Because we always talk about Angel. Hey, man, you got to talk a little less. But every time I see Kaitlin, every other play, arms in the air, looking frustrated, looking upset. I said it in the presser when I was talking to this guy from ESPN. I go, I have never seen her just look at a ref and smile. I have never seen her just happy to be there. She looks like she hates the hoop. Like that's the body language that she perceives. So did you feel any other way about that, or am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping. I'm not in love with that. You can be frustrated with a teammate who shoots 28% from three and is jacking contested threes in a game that is slipping out of your hands. Not the shot, not the person I want taking those shots. This is just kind of the other side of the coin, right? The gift and the curse. We just applauded her for how she conducts herself on post-game interviews and how she conducts herself with the media.
But she looks like a dick on the court. Like that's, what I mean?
But that's also part of greatness. Kobe did that shit. You know what I'm saying? Again, Kobe earned it, and maybe people feel like
you're a rookie doing this shit. You know what I mean?
Right. But like I would be a hypocrite because we just talked about on stuff about Luka Doncic doing that shit, yelling at the refs, crying to the refs, flail on his arms. But also, that's how the Mavericks got as far as they did. So it's kind of like, would you like them to do less of that thing that they're doing? That's not a good look. Sure.
Look better, but lose more. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So what do you do? Is that part of her game? Like, is that something she can't turn off because she's so honed in on the game, right? Like, to me, the same way I feel about Luka Doncic, even though it doesn't look great in moments, at the end of the day, they just want to win, right? Like, that's all it comes down to. Should you be doing it right after a teammate shoots a shot and then she makes it, and you're like, at least go, if you're gonna do it, but then at least go like pat her on the butt or give her a high five or do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, be like, all right, cool. Like, but yeah, it's like throughout sports, teammates have done this. She's not the original, oh, I'm mad at my teammate for taking a bad shot person, right?
No, of course not. And I don't want to paint her out. I also want to reiterate that.
Reiterate. But to your point, no, it is not something I am in love with. It's something that she needs to be better at, just like Luka Doncic needs to be better at. Kobe, as it seems to be always, is an outlier because of just how great he was. I feel like you have to earn that kind of behavior a little bit, but I also saying that, understanding that's just who she is on the court.
Right.
Just like you have the enforcer people who just can't help but foul hard, right? You can't help but set a hard screen, right? Just you can't tell Steph not to take ridiculous turnaround jump shots. You can't tell
Alyssa Thomas is going to beat the shit out of you no matter who you are.
Right. Like, you can't tell Anthony Edwards to not like try to take somebody's soul as he dunks on them. Like, it's just just go into the rim and just be reckless. Allen Iverson,
tell John Morant to not pull out his Glock, like
to pull out his pea shooter, pull out his little pea shooter. Demetrius from Cranbrook trying to be a fake gangster. God damn, man. But
I miss John. I haven't heard from John in a while. It's been quiet.
So y'all credit that behavior as a positive for some player. I didn't see this.
No, but so here's the I'm gonna let Jerm have a second because Jerm's been going back and forth with the comments. To address that though, the importance of that is understanding that Kobe Bryant wasn't like that pre-Shaq or even during the Shaq era. Kobe Bryant was like that post 2004 when they lost to the Detroit fucking Pistons. That's when he started turning it to another level and saying, no, fuck that. I will not handle Swaggy P and Jeremy Lin and all these guys. Like, he didn't want to put up with Parker. Like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But D'Angelo Russell and all these other players, like, that was given in time. That was given a three-peat later to be a rookie and come into this league. And to credit, we're going to keep it. Let's be consistent about men and women, which I love the point you made. Yeah, Luka does it too. You didn't win a fucking MVP. You're not a fucking champion. Like, who chill the fuck out.
Exactly why he's criticized for it. It's exactly why he's criticized for it.
If LeBron does the shit, no one says shit, because guess what? That is the flopping, whether you like it or not, was a huge part to what won Miami 2 championships post Dwayne Wade winning the first one on his own with an old ass Shaquille O'Neal. Shout out Dwayne Wade, Chicago Sky co-owner. But
there you go.
With that though, on all serious note, like, I am okay with legends of the game hoeing a rookie, hoeing, a young player. For a rookie to be looking at a vet crazy. And when I say hoeing, that's universal. You can get hoed, man, woman, black, white, whoever. I get hoed every day by people in my comments. It happens.
I'm getting hoed today for the last hour.
There's been getting hoed in the comments all day. And that's just what it is. But for Kaitlin Clark to go out there and do what she did in that matter, and by the grace of God, it's just so unfortunate that this woman hit the three, because it just makes it so much worse. A 28 3-point shooter hit the three on the play where you just looked at her and said, why the fuck would you make that? Okay, now you got to be like, oh, okay. I've done that. I have done that as a teammate in high school. You look at someone and you're like, why the fuck would you? Oh, okay, never mind. Hey, shout out to him. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'll take it back. She was not apologetic. She was not like, hey, good. Like, to your point, no pat on the back, nothing. Like, just negativity from Clark, I feel like from time to time is on the court. Now, I think her teammates love her. I think they rave about her, but I've also seen moments where Aaliyah Boston pulls her to the side, like, oh, chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, just be smooth. Like, let's
Yeah.
get back, lock in. I understand the same way I'm going to stay consistent about Angel Reese. I'm going to stay consistent about Kaitlin. She's a 21-year-old woman, 22-year-old woman. She is coming into herself. She is still trying to figure out who she is as a person. So, and as a hooper. So
And
I am not.
she's a shooting star, literally a star.
Yeah.
Like she was a star in college. That's one thing because you're insulated in college.
Right.
Now you're a global star.
Right. And so I'm going to give you time to figure that out. But what I won't do is not address those growing pains. You know what I mean? Like Angel has growing pains. Camilla's been really great. You know, like Camilla's
she's also coming back from injury, right?
Right. She's just chilling, coming off a national championship. She's just vibing.
She's trying to get her WNBA breath, right? She's trying to figure it out. But
no one's on Cameron Brink. You know, when Cameron Brink's playing, it's, oh, Jimmy Butler loves you, and oh, all the stars are out in LA, and oh, Rike Jackson and all these other players. Man, it's so much fun. And then you look at Aaliyah Edwards in Washington. No one gives a fuck about Washington, but they're not on her. No one's on Camila Cardoso. No one's on all these other players. Why? Because, like you said, there's not that history. There's not that tie that's not only so much bigger than basketball, but it has become a global thing of like Kaitlin versus Angel, just like Magic and Bird, just like Mike versus Isaiah, just like LeBron versus Curry. This is a thing, whether you want it to be a thing or not. This is a fucking thing. Like it's Brady versus the Giants. Like,
right. But it's helped grow their stars. We just talked about it. Like, you know, this whole argument me and Dwayne Marcus had about why Kaitlin Clark is indeed the face of the league. I was like, you guys, you hardcore WNBA fans need to get away from stats for a minute, because in general, yes, the faces of the league generally are, but the WNBA is in a unique circumstance with Kaitlin Clark here. And this is why she should have been on the USA national team. The fucking Olympic team fucking president said that. He said, yeah, Kaitlin Clark probably should have been on the team. I don't know.
I wanted your take on it because we haven't had a chance to do a show since that
But
happened.
You know my take. It was the same shit I said when
I wanted to hit you with something that I think kind of it doesn't get talked about enough. It kind of got misconstrued in the whole thing. Did you know that she was invited to Team USA's camps twice? And she said no.
No, the first she went and worked out as a junior
in high school.
High school. The other
that was forever ago.
But she was in the tournament. The first time she was in the tournament, she wanted to focus because she wanted to win a championship.
And I understand that
she couldn't do it because she was in the championship game.
Right. And I'm completely
she was still
okay
in the roster. She was still on the roster pool. So like she could have been picked again.
You know
I don't
what
give
I
a
mean,
shit.
Though?
Do you? Okay. First off, who cares about the tryout? Do you think Kaitlin Clark needs? It doesn't matter. Do you think she's bad at basketball? Is a USA tryout going to tell you if she's good at basketball or not?
No, not at all. And that's the problem, though, Jerm. Why it matters? I've been working Team USA for 2-3 years, and that doesn't make my argument any more valid. But like, just to like make that point, like I'm seeing them every single year play with each other, and they're trying to build this roster. Like, the Olympics is so weird because it's not like the All-Star game where everybody's just, you know, shooting half-court shots and like Luka who misses a fucking layup. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't bullshit. Like, this is the Olympics. And Kalia Copper has been trying to make that roster for years. You know, Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, they're all trying to make Sabrina Ionescu, who's been doing Team USA stuff since she was in high school and never missed it for a single year. Granted, to your point, she was never in a national championship. You know what I mean? She was never, you know, playing in the middle of April. But I think the problem was they're trying to build a roster that cohesively knows each other and plays well together. And I think there's several keys to why she didn't make that roster. One, I think the reason they're going to give you is because she missed both of those practices, both of those training camps, which evidently I think in itself kind of makes sense because it's kind of like, hey, Jerm, you want to come to my party, even though we haven't talked to each other in 10 years? You know what I mean? But then on the other side of things, there is the Diana Taurasi's of the world. There are the old heads of the world who, you know, you made a great clip about, are you going to try to sell me the idea that Kaitlin Clark and Diana Taurasi are that far off from each other at this point in time? they're averaging damn near the same amount of points, if not Angel's averaging more, or not
No,
Angel, pardon me.
they're averaging the same amount of points, but
I believe Kaitlyn has more
Clark,
assists, doesn't she?
Caitlin Clark has more assists, more rebounds,
Exactly.
more blocks, and more steals.
But to that
It's
point,
not. But it's
Diana's
not.
been there she's done the Olympics 6 times.
So the fuck what? Again, this is so it can't be two arguments. It's either, if it's a basketball argument, then Kaitlin Clark's a better player. I don't care.
Sure.
So if you're telling me that it's because Diana Taurasi has already been on the team, that means it is a subjective list. It is a thing that you can manipulate. So if you're telling me that Kaitlin Clark isn't one of the 12 best players, then cool. But then don't also put a player on there that is worse than her, right now.
And that's like
that was my point. Like, and I got called a hater, and I was like, no, I'm not hating.
I don't think it's hate. I think they're hating on you, of course.
No,
but from you, I don't think it's hate towards Jackie Young or Kalia Copper or anybody else on the Diana Taurasi. No. I think it's more so just like you yourself and Jerm, you and I are going to do a giveaway on Give Us a Shot. We have a Kaitlin Clark Team USA jersey that's being made right now. And if you subscribe, hit that like, hit that follow button, whether you love us or hate us, you have a chance to win that at some point this summer. So definitely get in tune with that. But with that being said, I think the big thing for me is really understanding what this team has the capability to do. They have been with each other for years trying to build something, and I'm here with you. And I think that's really where they're coming from, the individual players. But for me, I think it's kind of how I perceived it outside, media, outside, whatever, Mike Hughes, how I perceived it was it just felt like they weren't ready for it. Like, I don't think they knew how to even handle that situation. I think they were too worried to have backlash. I think they were too afraid to not start her and to hear what people were going to say. And I don't know if you have a different take on that than I do, but I think the Olympics was like, man, bro, like, we're going to piss off all the players if we start her, but if we don't start her, we're going to piss off the entire world because people want to see her. So
you leave her off the team, and then you have
there's no right or wrong to leaving her off. You know what I mean?
But like, again, I didn't have a problem with it until like a Chelsea Gray who was hurt all season has just played her first game the other day.
And I would imagine her or Kaitlin or Arike is probably going to make it if Gray can't go for real.
Well, and here's the other thing: Arike wasn't even on the roster pool.
And that's fucked up.
Right. But no, Arike took herself off of it. So like when people were saying Arike was the snub, no, at least Kaitlin was in the roster pool. She's just getting ready to play in NCAA tournaments. So again, and the issue is, and the argument I was having with the Olympic stuff wasn't really basketball based. It was Kaitlin Clark is a unique situation, and you need to capitalize no matter what. I don't care if she's not one of the 12 best people.
Like Kobe going on the Redeem team.
Right. Put her on the team and let her play the 5 and 10 minutes that people normally would see. And trust me, when you guys are blowing out fucking not Puerto Rico, like Canada or some other bum ass fucking women's team, Brazil, and you guys are up by 40 points, I'm sure you can sneak Kaitlin Clark in for a couple of pity 3-pointers and people are going to love it. Yes, the WNBA benefits with Kaitlin Clark being on the USA team, because even though it's not a WNBA thing, you know where money comes from? Jersey sales. You think Kaitlin Clark wasn't going to break a fucking jersey sale record?
Oh my, Team USA. Listen, let's not to make it about race again, but the MAGA fans are just waiting for a USA Clark jersey, brother.
And let them have it, because all the players are going to reap the benefits of that. Yep. That's the part people are missing. Let them, millions of people who would not have tuned into the Olympics otherwise, put eyes on the other 11 best players, because what better helps your game than take the current star of the league with the 11 other best players in the league so she can learn from them to then become a bigger star in the future. 4 years from now, Kaitlin Clark could tear all her ACLs and PCLs, or she could bust out. I don't know. Maybe this is the only year she's a good player. But why would you not capitalize on a rising shooting star right now? She has a rocket on her back for whatever reason.
And that's a great point you made too, because I think not to cut you off, but 4 years. Yeah. That's the next time you're going to be able to actually market off of. Like, I cover Team USA every winter, but I'll tell you, no one gives a fuck until it's the real Olympics.
Right.
That's period. Like the junior
Olympics, not going to be as hot as she is right now than she will be in 4 years.
I mean, it could be hotter. Who knows? You know, we're not going to
unless she wins. If she wins 2 rings in the next 4 a ring in the next 4
she wins
years,
an MVP or
MVP, not going to be any hotter. And then even if she is, why would you take that chance? She's red hot right now. Like, if anything, it'll make her even hotter in 4 years if she is able to learn now from players who aren't going to be on the team in 4 years.
From a marketing standpoint, I'm with you. And I think, like, you know, we talk about it all the time. My rookie year of being media in the WNBA was Sue Bird's last year, and I never got a chance to talk to her. And that's something that pisses me off every single day. For Kaitlin Clark, you're never going to play with Diana Taurasi. You're never, like, unless maybe the All-Star game. I don't even know how that would work. But, you know, if she makes the All-Star game, we saw how she already got snubbed out of Team USA. You know what I mean? But she is, because she's behind Asia Wilson in voting.
She's number 2. She's
and listen, again, it's not Kaitlin Clark hate, but the fact that she has more votes than Enrique or anybody else just shows the magnitude of what she's bringing to the league.
But it also shows that the fact that Asia Wilson is still number 1 shows that,
of course,
it's not people like.
It's not just
still
them.
Care. Right. People still care about who the best player in the league is. Right. Asia Wilson deserves those flowers because she is, without a doubt, by a lot, the best player in the league.
With the worst logo, of course.
With worst logo. And I think somebody who's been with us since minute 1, Janera Johnson, said pictures of Asia Wilson's shoes were released. They look awful. They look awful, Janera.
Yeah.
So,
you know what I really like, Jerm? I really love you give him a 4
out of 10. I don't like him.
I'm gonna generously give a 5, but
generously give a 5.
But I fuck with Asia, so because it's Asia's shoe, I'd wear it. But my favorite shoe in the W is the Sabrinas. The Sabrina ones are,
my God,
I mean, they're a beautiful shoe, and I don't know, there might be a backstory. I'm not gonna lie, there might be a backstory to why the logo looks the way it does. It might have personal meaning, sentimental meaning to her. But from the outside looking in, that shit is ugly, dog. It looks like when the thing you floss your teeth with. It looks like a grill that got knocked over on a windy day in North Carolina. Like, I mean, it's just, it's bad. The shoe itself isn't awful. It's the logo that I'm going to have to look at with that I can't rock with. Like, I've been wearing Curry's. I don't know if you saw my Instagram stories. I've been buying. I'm a whore for Steph Curry shoes. They're the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn, next to Kyrie's. We're hooping in them lately, and man, it's just it's a comfortable ass shoe, and the logo looks nice. He's Steph Curry, he's chefing. It looks like a little, like a cooking thing. It's tough. But like the Victor Wembanyama's, the Greek Freaks, like I mean, they're fucking ugly, and the LaMelo balls are nice. You know what I mean? But have you ever seen Trae Young shoes?
I have not.
They're the ugliest fucking shoe I've ever seen in my entire life. They look like giant ice blocks are on your feet when you're in Fortnite and someone hits you with the freeze thing. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. That reference is for all the shorties watching the show, but it's fucking horrible. It's awful.
Sabrinas are amazing. They remind me of the Kobe 5s. So I think I'm obviously the ties to Kobe Bryant with Sabrina. With her first shoe, I would imagine would be heavily Kobe inspired. G Nice Beauty Tings. She's not fucking Herbo. What the fuck? Hey, listen, man. I didn't talk to nobody. I don't know anything, man. Just remember when the news comes out that Angel Reese and G Herbo are connected in some way. Remember that you heard it on this show from your boy Jerm at the Give Us a Shot Network. I didn't talk to nobody, and I don't know anything. I'm just, if you know, you know. Again, credit to everyone. Sabrina, Kaitlin, Angel.
Kelsey Plum's got some nice shoes too.
Kelsey Plum. Hey, shout out to Kelsey Plum. And no shout out to Darren Waller. Buddy.
That video is ass.
CTE is real, folks. I mean, damn.
It is.
Fumbling Kaitlin Clark. Fumbling Kelsey Plum is nuts.
Crazy work.
And then dropping the video, like.
And then retiring from the NFL.
And then retiring
in the same week.
Hey, check on Darren Waller, man. Make sure he's good.
Darren Waller.
We have a friend. I have a friend, James. She works. She used to work with Darren Waller. I guess he hired her agency. And
does she also have a drug addiction?
No,
okay.
Which is why they no longer represent him. So, they.
I could say that because they're divorced now. I've been waiting a long time to say that.
She doesn't work there anymore either. So, but I'm not going to drop any of that information. But yeah,
sure.
Yeah, there has been some red flags. So I don't know how Kelsey ended up with him in the first place, but it is.
I think life's. Listen, you said it to me before the show started. Your 20s are weird, man. I mean, your 20s. I'm 24. Like
figure yourself out.
I think I have finally started to figure stuff out, and my I would say the wild days or the wild boy days are over. I just be at the crib with my niece and my nephew, and we watching Bluey and shit. Like, but if you would have talked to me 3 years ago, man, well, I don't even gonna get into that. But man, life's a beach, man. Life's a beach. But we appreciate you guys being here, man. We appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out our first The Network WNBA show. There are going to be so many more shows just like this: NBA, MLB, NHL, wrestling, maybe golf. Got to find somebody to do it. So make sure you give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. You can find the branch right in the bio below, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube. Tony Two Tones, how we feeling, baby? Appreciate you guys being here. We had a lot of people in here, man. I don't know if it was 80 plus people or 80 comments from one person that got pissed off by what Jerm said. But regardless, we appreciate the hate. We appreciate the love. We appreciate everybody engaging. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Cannot stress that enough because we are growing every single day. If you hate Jerm Edwards, if you hate Mike Hughes, there are so many other amazing people on this network, on this platform, 24/7 doing shows. Protect Our Queens, Martin and Marcus. We have Bert, Corey, who look the same, and also Michael Powers. It is crazy to think how this network is growing more and more every day, and it's even crazier to think that you're not fucking following us. So until then, Jerm, do you have anything else for the haters before we get out of here?
Hey, man, shout out to the first-time listeners. Shout out to the last-time listeners. Shout out to all the hate watchers. Shout out to every single person. This is the Give Us a Shot Network. This is the Network WNBA Show. This has been amazing. Listen, all you people that are calling me all types of names in the comment section, come back next time. Come back and check out stuff about sports. I do it all. Listen, you thought me ragging on Angel Wilson was bad. Wait till you hear about my takes on fucking Patrick Mahomes. So it'll be a good old time. But yeah, we appreciate every single person that's given us a shot. We just cracked 3,000 subscribers after about a year doing this YouTube thing. So the love has been crazy. Again, the constructive criticism has been great. It helps us grow. We love it.
Bad criticism has been great.
I love all of it. All of it's great, man. I love the dialogue. I love the back and forth. I want to know what the people are saying. I want to know because maybe I'm off. Maybe I need to go. Reassess some things. But check us out. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out at Give Us a Shot Network on TikTok, at Give Us a Shot on Instagram, and then from there you can find all our great shows like the Shy Kid podcast and stuff about sports. Protect Our Queens, which is an all WNBA podcast as well. They're really intelligent guys that do the show over there. But yeah, man, Mike, I'm good, man. Thank you for doing this first show with me. It couldn't have gone any better.
Thank you for doing it with me as well, bro. We had a blast. And I just want to say really quick, Stuff About Sports is actually one of my favorite shows. I know a lot of people in here were saying dump Jerm. There is no Give Us a Shot without Jerm Edwards. There is no hot takes without Jerm. Jerm gives you the hottest takes, whether you love him or not. Just wanted to throw that out there that this is my guy. This is my brother. I co-sign Jerm Edwards, everything he's got going on, other than when he destroys my Chicago Bulls. But other than that, man, we appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, we're out of here.